Es ist ihm, Jakovin, oft ausgekommen, zu führen am Milchoma mit Fliegen und Wehren. Es haben gebissen die Kie und euch in, Jakovin. So it often happened that he had to have a war with flies and worms that bit the cows and also bit him, Yaakov. Hat nicht gehabt kein Ausweg. He didn't have any way out. Hat gemusst töten. He had to kill them. Beim Gehen hat Keseder raufgetreten auf Jabelech Schlengelech. As he went along, he would always step on frogs and little snakes. Hat oft gegend beim Reisengras giftiger Schlang, was haben geschippet auf ihn. He would often encounter, in the time that he was pulling the grass, poisonous snakes that would spit on him, geprüft im Beißen, und hat sie gehargit mit a Stecken oder a Steen. And they would try to bite him, these poisonous snakes, and he would kill them with a stick or with a stone. Abel, jedes Mal ist sich allein vorgekommen wie a Rotzeach. That's the way I would say it anyway. But every time he would feel himself that he was a murderer. Hat Stillerheit gehabt verribbelt auf der Beschäfer, was zwingt ein Beschäftignis zu vertickeln das andere. He quietly or silently had a resentment against the creation, which pitted one creature against and made it that one creature had to destroy another creature or another kind of creature. Von alle Kashios oifen Rabbonische Elam is die dosike kashe die hardste. From all of the questions that on God, this was now I always associate with the word harps, the word autumn, but it must mean something different here. From the context, I guess it means the hardest, but I can't get that from harps. Maybe somebody can help me with that.
Harp is difficult, so it's not harps, it's harp.
Oh, it's harp.
Yeah.
And the samich tet
So the hardest, it was the hardest.
It's the hardest. It's the hardest. This was the hardest. This was the hardest question for him.
It's a degree of comparison.
Yeah.
It's a degree of comparison, yeah. The harpist.
But Jordan, you said you typically think of it as autumn?
Well, the word harps, but that's a different word. It's a different word completely.
It's harp as opposed to harpst.
Yeah.
Harp is the same as the German for autumn.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's why I associate it with the autumn. Yaakov, thank you, Moshe. Yaakov hat erzählt nicht gehabt, was zu tun. Yaakov, at this moment, right now, didn't have what to do. Sich weggelegt, oifin gelegel. So he laid himself out on his little bed. Sich übergedeckt mit der Plachte. And he covered himself with a kind of sheet. We read that word was used earlier in the text, Plachte. Nein, Wanda wird heint nicht kommen. No, Wanda would not come here today. Hat zu sich gesagt. He said that to himself. Es ist ihm gewesen a Busche zu banken azoi noch der Dosiker Ehrlis. Aber wie viel hat nicht geprüft, vertreiben das gar nicht noch ihr. So I'll stop there. It was an embarrassment to him that he longed so much for this particular non-Jewish woman, this specific non-Jewish woman. But however much he tried to drive this lusting for her, ist es jedes Mal zugekommen mit beneiter Macht. But as much as he tried to stifle that lust for her, it would always return with new strength. Es ist gewesen mit ihm, wenn hat gedavent und gelernt. It was with him, it was present with him when he was davening, when he was praying, and when he was learning. Auf der Wach und im Schlaf, in the waking and in the sleep. Hat gewusst dem bitteren Emes. He knew the bitter truth. Es ist stärker wie der Treue noch Weib und Kinder, wie die Liebschaft zu Gott. He knew the bitter truth, that it was stronger, this lust, this physical, this drive, was stronger, was treuer, deeper, sadder, heavier, treuer, treurig, than for his wife and his children, and even to God. Oi der Willen zu Leib kommt von Sotten, dämmelt is Jakob, a Gefangener in der Netz. If the drive to flesh, the body, comes from the devil, from Satan, then he, Yaakov, is entangled in a net. Nu, ich bin a verlorene von beider Welten. No, okay, I've lost both worlds, this world and the world to come. Hat zu sich gemurmelt. He mumbled this to himself. Hat geforscht mit a Spettel Oig der Dreusen. He examined, he looked at the outside world with half-closed eyes. Zwischen die nasse Pustes hat sich getan a Schockel, a Blimel, a blot. Between the wet bushes, there was waving, there was moving a flower, a leaf. Es haben sich verborgen in der gedichtig Feldmais, Wieseln, Mäuselwurfen, Äpfel euch Träuchen und Joschel. So it was buried in this in the deepness here, in the thickness here. Field mice, weasels. I don't know what a moilworfen is, and perhaps even skunks, and I don't know what a yozhin is. But these animals were all were there in this earth. Jedes Chayele hat gewalt mit Ungeduld. Every one of these little animals was waiting with impatience. Die Jakob, die Sohn soll wieder rauskommen, was waiting just like he was, Jakob, for the son to come out again. Die Bäume seien gestanden, Balloden mit Vögel wie bindlich fruchten. The trees were, or the branches were loaded down with birds, like it was packages of fruits. Wie nur der Regen ist geworden schwacher, hat sich gleich der Herd krakenisch, zwitscher, fight. As soon as the rains grew a little bit lighter, then there was a croaking and a whistle. It was all of these animals coming to life again. A tweeting, a twitcher. Von Ehrgeiz hat sich der Tragen. I don't want to overstay my time. Shall I continue? Maybe I'll
finish this paragraph.
I'll finish the paragraph.
Very short.
The section. Von Ehrgeiz hat sich getragen a zugeduschet Jodlin. From somewhere there was carried, I don't know what it's zugeduschet Jodlin, a yodeling, a singing,
A muffled yodeling.
a muffled. This is where a Pastuch hat sich gesungen in der voller Feuchtigkeit. A shepherd was singing in the putrid, the heavy dampness. Das Kohlseins hat gerufen von der Weiten. The voice was coming from very far away. Gebeten, gemont, ausgetrillt, Kloglied, eufen Avela, was is geschehen, all das Lebendige, Menschen, Chayes, Jiden, Goyen, afilu de Fliegen und Micken, beim der Kuh eufen Sodik. So what did this song express? The song was begging and demanding. It was a sad song, a kloglied, for about the wrong that had been done to every living thing, people, animals, Jews, non-Jews, even the flies and the gnats that were around the cow's backside or rump. Everything had been wrong. So this is what I was referring to in terms of sensibility here of, there's the deformity and the inhumanity of these people, and yet there's this sensibility of the sadness of life. A mixture. Thank you.
Okay, but just to answer what Nechama just said, I think this paragraph is masterful in the way it weaves together the tiny details of nature that are around Yaakov, the bugs and the grass and the trees and the birds, and the very deep philosophical questions that he's asking that are deeply interwoven with that observation of nature. So thank you for pointing that out, Nechama. I'll try to read a little bit. Von Nacht zu hat der Regen aufgehört, aber es ist gewesen klar, als dieser kurzer Überreit. Overnight, you could hear rain, but it was clear that it was, can I say just a short interlude? I hope the guys that know what they're doing would correct me if
evening, I think it's in the evening, the rain stopped, but it was obvious that it was just a short interruption.
Okay.
Überreißen is to interrupt, and aufhören is obviously stop.
Thank you. Der Merb ist geblieben verzeugen.
Margaret.
Sorry?
Der Meirov.
Meirov. Der Meirov ist geblieben verzeugen mit der schweren Wolken. What is a Meirov?
The West.
The West.
Ah.
It's like you see the word Erev. The evening.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but
it's the West. It's the distance.
West. Yeah, no, I know, but
the West.
It's the direction. But I associate it with just for Elka, it would be Erev. Maybe that wouldn't help.
Yeah, I actually need help with that whole sentence. I only understand one word there. Can somebody chime in?
Okay, I'll try. The West remained covered with a heavy cloud.
Heavy clouds.
And verziehen, it means to draw across. Ziehen is pulling.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I can't get all of these. Hat inmitten geglanzt, rötlich und schwerbelig, wie angeladen mit Blitzen. So it was occasionally shining with red and what is schwerbeldick?
Sulfurous. Schwebel is sulfur. SULFUR, you know.
SUL.
It smelled of hell, like
as though it were loaded with lightning. Kroen seinen Geflogen niederig, gekraken. Are these the crows were flying low and cawing? Die Luft ist weicht und voll mit der Spray, was kon jede Rege während Regen. I already forgot some of those words, but it's about how the air was full of something that
mist.
Yeah. So während Regen is toward the rain. Jakob hat sich nicht gericht, als Wanda soll kommen zu ihm in Azav Veter. Yaakov did not think that Wanda would come to him in such weather. Aber wenn ist gegangen auf dem steinigen Bergel, von wannen fleckt sie ausgucken, but when he went up up the stony little hill where he would be able to see her coming, hat sie der Zen raufsteigen mit die zwei Milchblechen und mit der Keberl, was sie hat getrogen, bei ihm Speis. So, but then he saw that she was coming with two milkblechen. What are those? Milk something.
Milk cans.
Milk cans.
She's coming to get the milk.
Yeah, and with a container, cable.
What, a basket.
A basket, thank you. Where she carried Speis for him. What is Speis?
Food.
Oh, so she was bringing food to him. Okay. Tränen seinen Jaakoven angekommen in die Augen. Tears appeared in Jaakov's eyes. Emetz hat ihm in Sinnen in der dosiger Heck. I'm sorry, I need help with that phrase.
Someone had him in mind in this little place in the world. Imagine that he sees her. This is an act of kindness on her part.
Yeah, and so Heck is the place.
It's a distant, far-flung place.
Like the end of the world.
The end of the world, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Emetz is ihm getreu. Somebody, what is getreu?
Faithful, is loyal to him.
Someone was loyal to him. Hat in gebeten Gott, der Regen soll sie nicht verhaben. Eder sie kommt zu ihm. And he prayed to God that she wouldn't be caught in the rain while she was coming to him. The Tefillah is weist euch geworden gehört, weil Rege nachdem wie Wanda ist rein mit ihm in Stall. What is the Tefillah?
Prayer, his prayer.
Okay.
He prayed that it wouldn't rain on her. So his prayer.
That was, before that, he prayed that it wouldn't rain on her, and then the Tefillah is weist euch
that prayer that he made.
Prayer was heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
God,
exactly.
God heard his prayer. Well, and what is arege?
The moment.
The moment after that, as Wanda was coming to him in the barn. Hat sich getan a los arop a kliop. What is a los?
Downpour came
Yeah.
as soon as she was in the cave. The chliop was a downpour. And,
So in other words, the minute she came in, until then, she was fine. And then she came in and the rain started again.
Ja, okay, es ist gegossen wie von Zebers. The rain poured like out of barrels. Jakob und Wanda haben das mal wenig gerät. Jakob and Wanda talked very little at this point. Sie hat sich gleich weggesetzt, melken die Kieh, She sat down immediately to milk the cow. Hat sich gewaschen zum Essen, and he started washing himself to eat. Ashemevdigkeit hat beide angenommen und a Verlegenheit. Kind of a shyness overcame both of them, and what's a Verlegenheit?
Embarrassment.
Oh, an embarrassment. Thank you. Okay, shyness and embarrassment overcame them both. In der Stall is given halbfinster, the stable or the place where they was half dark. Zumol hat getan a Blitz und Jakob hat der Sehn wanden wie beleucht mit a himmlischer Schein. A Steiger, die Wande, was kann, is bloß a Moschel und a Mischugumdike Schol,
Gushimdik.
a Schumdik,
Gushim.
Megush Medike, thank you, Schol von der, I should have stopped earlier, von der Jenendiker, was an Fleck sich zu ihm ist. All of a sudden, lightning strike or a flash of lightning happened, and Yaakov saw Wanda illuminated with a heavenly shine. It seemed that Wanda, that he knew as Moshel, as a person, the person he knew, is that I need help with Moshel una Megum de Keshol. Like the person he knew, the Wanda that he knew as a person from before, her appearance from before, when der Jeniker was anfleckt sich zu ihm it's, that is looking at, that is appearing for him now, is sie denn nicht beschaffen B'Tselem Elohim. She's looking like she's made in the image of God. Is that right?
Is she then not made in the image of God?
Or is she not made in the image of God? Hat Emetz in ihm gefragt, something in him asked himself, is denn nicht die Schönheit ihre, is not her beauty an Aufspiegelung von der Miete von Tiferes? Der Miete von Tiferes. Is that not, is her beauty not an image of the or mirrored in the, what is Mida von Tefira? Eternal beauty?
Joan should know because that's Hebrew. The
Well,
way I have it is a characteristic of beauty.
Midah is like
Wonder.
the qualities. You know, somebody has good midot, they have the quality of, you know.
Okay.
Tiferes is wonder,
Wonder, beauty.
wonder.
Wonder and beauty. Okay. But
So
then,
he's seeing her in a way that, you know, in a new light, so to speak.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
the sense that I'm getting. He's seeing her in a new light, not in the normal light, but in a different beauty or appearance altogether from this flash of lightning. Hat denn nicht Isha in sich
Isav.
Nitzut von Abraham und Yitzchak.
Mhm. Mhm.
Did Esau not have in him an image of Abraham and Isaac?
A nitzotz, I think, is a like a sparkle of. In other words, that even within Esav, there was a spark of Abraham and Yitzchak. That there was, even in this person who you don't associate with the godliness, there
Yeah.
was also that. And so he's looking at her and seeing that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Jakob hat wohl gewusst, wohin die alle Marscheves führen. Jakob knew, he knew well where these thoughts were taking him, aber hat sie nicht gekonnt abstuppen, but he couldn't push them away from his thoughts or stop thinking about them. Sie seien nicht abgetrogen beim Essen, beim Benchen, beim Davenen Mariv. They didn't, he couldn't get rid of them while he was eating, while he was benchen, blessing, beim, in praying Mariv, the evening prayers. Es ist bald geworden klar, als wird sich schon nicht ausleitern. It soon became clear that they wouldn't ease, he wouldn't ease out of them. Und Wanda kon mehr nicht gehen hin. And Wanda couldn't go home at this point. Es ist geworden zu spät euch. It also got too late. Der Weg is full mit Sekonim. The way home was full of dangers. Wanda hat also getan. Wanda said, ob du wirst mich nicht heraustreiben, will ich schlafen da in Stall. If you don't drive me out, I'll sleep here in the stall or in the stable. Soll dich heraustreiben. Du bist die Balaboste. I'm going to drive you out, he said. You're the Balaboste. You're the boss. Kon kriegen a Nachtlager ergens anders. I can get a place to sleep somewhere else. Und dem Goss and the rain, the downpour. Should I keep going?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
Sie sind noch gesessen ein bisschen und geschmust. They sat a little bit more and talked together. Wanda hat erzählt wegen Zagoyeken. Wanda told him about I guess his name is Zagesh or
Gayek.
Zagayik.
the guy.
Zagaik, sein Gelenk,
Zagayik.
yeah, Zagaik, sein Gelenk wife, his crippled wife, sein Zindel Stefan, his son Stefan, was hat sich gejagt nach ihr, that was chasing after Wanda, ihr Wandern. Und sein Tochter Sascha and his daughter Sascha, sie ist gewesen als Sort für den ganzen Dorf, als der Vater lebt mit ihr. It was a secret in the entire village that the father was living with her. Chutz der Tochter hat gehabt a halb Tutz, noch andere Kochankes und a ganze Chapke Mamzerum. Other than his daughter, he had a half dozen other mistresses and a whole bunch, I guess it's a bunch of bastards. Der Doziker Zagyats, the same Zagyats, hat sich gefühlt nicht wie ein Akonem, nicht wie Akonem, und a viele nicht wie a Poretz, nor wie a Kenik. This same Zagyats was comporting himself or behaving not like a retainer. I think that's a retainer, and a filinishvia poritz, and also not like a nobleman, nor like a king. Wenn a poyer shemoyet hat chasene gehabt, when a peasant girl got married, hat geheißen kommen zu ihm a Nacht vor dem Schlub Leut an alt Gesetz, was ist schon heit nicht gültig. When a peasant girl got married, he told her to come to him for the first night, according to an old law, which was no longer in fashion.
Moshe, can you move the
Ja, wiewohl die Poren haben dort gehabt sehr eigene Erd und bloß gedacht, arbeiten waren Poretz 2 Tage in der Woche. Accordingly, that the peasants had to had their own land and only had to work for the noblemen 2 days in the week. Hat allemen behandelt wie Knecht. He treated everyone as slaves. Hat geschmissen Poren. He whipped them, the peasants, getrieben zu Arbeit, was Poren haben nicht gedacht tun. He made them do work that peasants weren't supposed to do. Aufgelegt Steuern. What did he put on them?
Taxes.
Okay.
Taxes on the
Um,
whiskey.
Okay, or Bronfen on whiskey, gemacht über kranke Operations gegen sehr will, made them, operated on them against their permission. Hat gerissen Zähne mit Zwang. He tore their teeth out with pliers. Angehackt Finger mit a Hackmesser. Chopped off their, he's a lovely person, sorry. He chopped off their fingers with an axe. Geöffnet Bristen mit a Breutmesser. And he opened their breast with a bread knife. Wenn a Bobbe is gegangen zu Kind, hat when a grandmother was going to help birth a baby, hat zagiat aufvertreten die Hebas. He had Zagiat took the place of the midwife, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
what a hay bomb is. The midwife.
A midwife. Dabei
Mhm.
hat sich gelost for Altbazon, and for all of this, he made everybody pay him. Wanda hat geteinet, and she complained. Will alt für sich, he wants everything for himself. Wenn wollt gekonnt, wollte das ganze Dorf reingeschliffen. If he could have, he would have swallowed the entire village.
By the way, I just made that
Lovely
connection.
description of this man.
Bronfen being whiskey. I just made the connection that the surname Bronfman means like whiskey man.
Right. Okay, you're next,
Thanks. You're next.
Tamara.
Oh,
Tamara.
okay. Okay. Das Zugreiten a Gelegel Wanden is angekommen gering. I'm having trouble with this. Other than from where? Sorry, I maybe someone can help me out here. I don't know
Sure.
what Zugreiten is.
Preparing a bed for Wanda was very easy. Gring, easy. And
So sorry, does Zugreit, what does Zugreiten mean?
to prepare to get ready a bed.
Oh, okay. Is angekommen gering. Okay. Jakob hat euch gesprayt a bissel hay. I don't know what euch gesprayt means.
He spread out.
Spread out a little hay. Okay. Wand hat sich weggelegt, sich zugedeckt mit der Schal. Sorry, I'm really struggling today.
Wanda hat sich weggelegt, Wanda lay down, sich zugedeckt mit der Schal. She covered herself with her shawl. Is gelegen in ein Winkel. No, is gelegen in ein Winkel. He was lying in one corner, sie in an anderen. She was lying in another corner. Man hat gehört in der Finster, wie die Kieseinen Meile gehen. You could hear in the darkness how the cars were chewing the cud. Wiewohl sie hat sich gefunden in a Stall zwischen Behemoths. However, she found herself in a stable among cattle. Is Wanderfahrtenschlof a Royce ton ihr Badefnish. Although she was in a stable to do her bowel and bladder, she went outside. She didn't do it in the stable. By definition, it's what she has to do. Sie ist zurückgekommen an Ausgeweichte. She came back totally soaked. Heißt es, that is, she's in sei, heißt es, is in sei euch Dotsniers. That means that there's also modesty among the non-Jews. What Yaakov zu sich gerät. Yaakov said to himself, is gelegen auf Schwiegener, he lay totally silent. Wanda is geblieben liegen wie ein Stein. Wanda was lying like a stone. So not nicht schnorken in Schlaf. I hope well, it doesn't say that, but I should only not snore while I'm sleeping. What Yaakov sich gevormt. Yaakov warned himself. Hat sich geschrocken, als wird nicht können einschlafen. He was actually a little bit frightened that he would not be able to fall asleep. Aber die Müdigkeit hat ihm bezwungen, but the tiredness overwhelmed him. Die vier seien ihm herabgefallen, his eyelids closed, in Kopf ist ihm geworden finster, his head kind of darkness overtook it. Fleckt jede Nacht wegfallen wie ein Klotz. Every night he would fall, collapse like a log. Danken Gott, thank God, die Müdigkeit ist stärker wie die Teufe. Thank God, weariness is stronger than desire. Jacob is aufgekommen, der zitterte. Jacob woke up trembling. Hat geöffnet die Augen. He opened the eyes. Neben ihm, near him, auf dem Streu, on the straw, is gelegen Wanda was lying. In Stall is gewesen kill. It was cold or cool in the stable. Aber von ihr Leib hat gesetzt, hitz. But there was heat coming from her body. Von ihr Leib, sorry, not Leib, von ihr Leib. Sie hat sich eingeklammert in sein Hals. She had clamped herself around his neck, zugedrückt ihr Brust zu seiner, pressing her breast against his. Ihre Lippen haben angerührt sein von ihm. Her lips were touching his face. Jacob hat bald vernommen, was dort tut sich. Jacob quickly soon understood what was going on. Aber is geblieben still, but he remained quiet, verblüfft, sei davon, was sie hat abgetan. He was stunned by what she had done now, sei von seinem eigenen Begehr, and also from his own desire. Hat sie geprüft, abstuppen. He tried to push her away. Aber sie hat gehangen an ihm mit einem äußerlichen Keuch, but she was hanging on to him with an unusual strength. Hat gewollt reden zu ihr. He wanted to talk to her, aber sie hat gespart, ihre Lefzen zu sein well, but she pressed her lips against his mouth. Sie ist Jakob gekommen in Zikoren, die Meise von Boaz und Ruth, and Jacob remembered the story of Boaz and Ruth. Hat in een Rega benoemen als die lust is starker van him. He, in one moment, realized that desire was stronger than, that his desire was stronger than him. Nu verlier olam haba. So I lose the world to come. Hat zu sich also getan. He said to himself, hat gehört, wie Wanda vorkommt. And he heard how Wanda was groaning, neem mich, take me. Und sie ist heraus von ihr Freifenisch wie von Achaya, and Freifenisch wie von Achaya, and she was panting like an animal. A while is gelegen, aber nummer. For a while he was just totally overcome. Hat mehr nicht gekonnt, obsogen, nicht ich, nicht ihr. He could no longer push her away or deny her and deny himself. Hat gehad wie verloren die Bechira. It was as though he had lost the ability to choose between what was right and what was wrong. Gemora, was hat schon lang nicht gedenkt, hat sich ihm mit einmal der Mond. Okay. He remembered a passage from the Gemara that he had long not remembered, and it suddenly he remembered it. And I'm not sure how you pronounce this Hebrew. Mishe, maybe Yaakov can help me there. Mishe tikaf alav. Mishe Yalbesh.
משתקף עליו יצרוי, ילבש שחורים, ויסכסה שחורים, וילך, ויעשה מה שליבו חפץ.
Thank you. Can you translate that?
So,
It's got the Yiddish there. All right. There was a
whoever,
carry on.
who's ever Yitzroy, his inclination has attacked him, he should wear black, and he should cover himself with black clothing, and he should go and he should do whatever his heart desires.
Okay, and I think we've got the Yiddish there. Der was der Yetzer Hara hat sich über ihm gestarkt. The person that his evil inclination has overcome him or been stronger than him soll sich antun in Schwarzen, should get dressed in black, sich einhüllen in Schwarzen, cover himself in black, und gehen und tun, was sein Herz begehrt, and go and do whatever his heart desires. Der Dosiker Mamar hat wie geleuert die ganze Zeit in sein Gedächtnis. This saying was lurking, kind of waiting to pounce all the time in his memory. Great it's to schmettern die letzte Träum, ready now to smash the last fence keeping him from sinning. Der Dich ist ihm geworden schwer, his thighs became heavy, ungeladen. I think he was having an erection. So hat ihm ungenommen, a zienisch, a und a schwerenisch, nicht wieder zu stehen. He was overcome with a drawing and heaviness that he could not withstand. Jakob hat genommen reden mit a zitternisch in Kohl. Jakob started talking with a tremor in his voice. Wanda, Ich kann mit dir nicht sein. I shouldn't be with you, Wanda, hat gesagt. He said, Seiden, du wirst dich unterticken, unless you will go and immerse yourself. Ha, ich hab sich gewaschen und gezwungen. I have already washed and washed myself. Zwogen is really often used washing the hair. Nay, no, du musst reingehen in Teich. No, you have to go into the river. It's now. Das ist Gottes Gesetz. That is God's law. A while is sie geblieben still. For a while she was quiet, gepleppt von die dosige österliche Rede. She was stunned by this unusual talk. Danach hat sie gesagt. Afterwards she said, been great to euch. I'm prepared to do that also. Sie hat sich aufgerissen und ihm geschleppt mit sich. So she pulled herself up, she tore herself up and dragged him with her. Sie hat aufgeprallt die Tür von Stall. She opened the door of the stable. Der Regen hat gehabt aufgehört. The rain had stopped. Aber die Nacht ist gewesen schwarz und nass. But the night was black and wet. Man hat nicht gesehen, nicht dem Himmel. You couldn't see the heaven. Nicht dem Teichel nor the river. Man hat bloß gehört, ab Jusken with only hear a splashing, a rinnen, a running of water, a fließen, a flowing of water. Wanda hat mir schönerlich ausgetrennt aus Hemd. Wanda unusually quickly took off her shirt. She hat angenommen Jakob by der Hand. She grabbed Jakob by the hand, ihm gezeugen, pulled him in. Das Teichel is gewesen full mit Steiner. The river was full of stones, aber es hat gehabt eine Vertiefung, but it had one really deep part. Sie seien gekrochen, Blinderheit. They crawled blindly, und mit dem stillen Brennen von jener was seinen Maftir dem Körper, and with the still passion of those who are going to sacrifice their bodies. Sie haben sich angestoßen an Steine, Kusten. They bumped into stones and bushes. Sie seien gefallen euch auf sie Netzen Wasser, nets of water, or nets of water fell on them.
Maybe Yankiv should.
Sure.
Okay. Sie hat upon ihm sich nicht gewollt unterdrücken on him. Apparently, she didn't want to immerse herself without him. Sie hat ihm mitgezogen in Teichelereien, and she pulled him into the stream. Hat viele vergessen, auszutun die leinene Häusen. He even forgot to take off his borrowed pants. Is rein mit ihr, und von der Kälte hat ihm verhabt der Atem. He went into the water with her, and from the cold, the cold almost took his breath away. Von die Regens ist das Teichel geworden tiefer. The stream became deeper from the rain. Und hat a Rege wie verloren dem Boden unter die Füße. And for a moment, he lost his footing under his feet. Sie haben sich umgehabt, einer an dem anderen, and they grabbed onto one another. Sis gewinn in dem Epis von Messiris Nefesh. There was something of a risk to life in this. Also seinen jeden gesprungen in Feuer und Wasser für Kiddush Hashem. In this way, Jews jumped into the fire and water for Kiddush Hashem as it's literally honoring God's name, but
Martyrdom.
there's to martyr themselves. Thanks, I couldn't think of the term. Noch a while is wieder gestanden auf a festen Grund, and after a while he once again stood on firm footing. Hat so getan zu wandern, tick dich unter, and he said to Wanda, immerse yourself. Sie hat ihm abgelost und sich untergetickt, and so she left, she let him go, and she immersed herself. Hat sie a rege gehabt verloren und sie gesucht mit die Hand. He lost her for a moment, and he was feeling for her with his hands. Sie hat zurück aufgetaucht und die Augen seiner haben sich schon gehabt zugewohnt zu der Finsternis. So she aufgetaucht, she lifted herself up, I think, and his eyes became his eyes became zugewohnt,
Used to. They adapted to.
Sorry?
They
Adapt, yes, used to the darkness. Hat erblickt die blasse Form von ihr Ponym, and he saw the pale form of her face. Hat so getan, gich, komm, and he said to her, quickly, come. Sis war dir, hat sie geflüstert. I'm doing this for you, she whispered. Hat sie angenommen und sie seien gelaufen zurück zu der Stall. He put his arm around her and they ran back to the stable. Hat sich dabei abgegeben a Cheshbon, als viele das kalte Wasser hat nicht verloschen die Glee in seine Oderen. And he, at the same time, he quickly thought about it, that even the cold water had not dampened the glow in his veins. Sie haben beide gebrannt wie zwei nasse Sticker Kinn. They were both burning like two wet pieces of kindling. In Stall hat Jakoven herumgehabt die Warmkeit, and in the stable the warmth encompassed Jakob. Hat gefunden die Plachte und genommen Arumvischen Wandes Knekht Leib. He found the sheet, the blanket, and he began to wipe Wanda's naked body. Hat herabgerissen von sich die nasse Hosen, and he tore off his wet pants. Hat gepeukt mit die Zähne und schwer geatmet. His teeth were chattering and he was breathing heavily. Es ist do finster, aber Wandas Augen haben geleuchten wie mit seiner eigenen Schein. It was dark in the stable, but Wanda's eyes were bright with their own light. Hat gehört, wie sie sagt noch einmal, and he heard as she said once again, "Es ist für dir, it was for you that I did it. Es ist nicht für mir, nor for Gott. It wasn't for me, but for God." Hat geantwortet, he answered her. Erschrocken vor die eigene Wörter, and he was frightened by his own words. Hat sich allein genarrt, nicht a goye is a nieder, nicht es helpt ihr Twille. He said that he had fooled himself. Not only was she a Gentile woman, it's not that she was a Gentile woman and was a neither, she was menstrually unclean, and the immersion didn't help at all because of the fact that she was a Gentile woman. Alle Zäumen seinen Gehat abgefallen. All barriers fell down. Hat aufgehoben Wanden und zugetragen zum Geleger. He lifted Wanda and he carried her to the bed. And I think